The light in your room is gray before it is anything else. It is a thin, weightless light that does not seem to come from the sun, but from the gaps between things. You are awake, but you are not yet present. You lie there, feeling the weight of the sheets, which feel slightly heavier than they did yesterday. Or perhaps it is just that you feel slightly thinner. Your hand moves before your mind does. It finds a cold, glass surface on the nightstand. The screen blooms into a harsh, artificial white that stings your eyes, but you do not look away. You cannot look away. You scroll. You are looking for something, though if someone asked you what it was, you would not have an answer. You are checking to see if the world started without you. You are checking to see if you missed a moment where everything finally began to make sense. But the feed is just a blur of colors and faces, and words that vanish the moment they hit your retinas. Nothing sticks. Nothing lands. You put the phone down, and the silence of the room rushes back in, louder than the digital noise you just escaped. You are here. You are breathing. But there is a quiet, steady humming in the back of your mind that tells you something is missing. It isn't a sharp pain. It isn't a crisis. It is a hollow space, shaped exactly like you, sitting just a few inches to the left of where you actually are. You get out of bed because that is what people do. You move through the motions of your morning like a ghost haunting its own life. The water in the shower is hot, then it is cold, and you feel the temperature, but you don't really feel the water. You watch it disappear down the drain, and you wonder where it goes, and then you realize you don't care. You dress yourself in clothes that feel like a costume. You look in the mirror, and you recognize the features. The eyes are yours. The mouth is yours. But the person behind them feels like a stranger you met once at a party and can't quite remember the name of. You lean in closer, looking for a spark, looking for a sign of life, but the reflection just stares back with a neutral, terrifying patience. You wonder how long you could stand there before you forgot who was supposed to be watching whom. The commute is a dream you are having while your eyes are open. You see the others. They are in their cars or on the train or walking the pavement with their heads down. They look like they are going somewhere important. They look like they have destinations. You wonder if they are pretending, too. You wonder if they also feel the thinness of the air. You look at the buildings, the concrete, the glass, the repetitive patterns of the city, and it all feels like a stage set that hasn't been fully painted. If you reached out and pushed against the wall of the cafe or the side of the bus, would your hand go right through it? Everything is so bright, so detailed, and yet it feels entirely two-dimensional. You are moving through a world that is supposedly full of substance, but it feels like you are walking through a fog made of static. At your desk or at your station, or wherever it is you spend your hours, the clock begins its slow, rhythmic torture. The seconds are not units of time. They are small, rhythmic reminders of an absence. You do the work. You say the words. You send the emails. You smile when a smile is required. You have become a master of the middle distance. You can hold a conversation while your soul is miles away, drifting over a dark ocean, looking for a place to land. People talk to you and you hear the vibrations of their voices, but the meaning feels like it's being translated from a language you stopped speaking years ago. You nod. You agree. You participate in the grand performance of being a person. But inside, there is a stillness that is starting to feel like a weight. It is the stillness of a room that has been locked for a very long time. It is the stillness of a well that has gone dry. You find yourself staring at objects, a pen on the table, a crack in the linoleum, the way the light hits a plastic bottle. You stare until the object loses its name. It is no longer a pen. It is just a shape, a strange artifact of reality you don't quite belong to. You feel a sudden, jarring sense of displacement, as if you've been dropped into the middle of a movie and you've forgotten the plot. You know your name. You know your address. You know your history. But none of it feels like it belongs to you. It feels like a file you read once. It feels like a story about someone else. Lunchtime comes and you eat, but the food has no narrative. It is just texture. It is just fuel for a machine that doesn't want to run. You sit among the noise of the world and you feel a profound, aching loneliness, even if you are surrounded by people. It is a loneliness that has nothing to do with being alone. You could be in a crowd of thousands. You could be held in the arms of someone who loves you, and the emptiness would still be there, sitting quietly in your chest like a stone. It is a loneliness that comes from the realization that you are the only person who can hear the silence inside your head. You look at the person across from you, and you realize that there is an infinite, unbridgeable distance between your skin and theirs. You are a world unto yourself, and that world is currently under a gray sky. The afternoon stretches out, long and featureless. You feel a sense of waiting. You are waiting for the day to end. You are waiting for the weekend. You are waiting for the vacation. You are waiting for the next thing, the big thing, the thing that will finally make you feel like you have arrived. But even as you wait, you know, in a place you try not to visit, that the next thing will feel just like this thing. You have had the next things before. You have reached the goals. You have bought the items. You have achieved the milestones. And each time, after the briefest flicker of noise, the silence returned. The emptiness simply expanded to fit the new space you had created. It is a hunger that cannot be fed, because it isn't hungry for anything that exists in the light. You walk home as the sun begins to set. The sky turns colors that should move you, but they don't. They are just frequencies of light. You see a sunset and you think, I am seeing a sunset, but you do not feel the sunset. You are documenting your life instead of living it. You are a witness to your own existence. You watch yourself walk, watch yourself breathe, watch yourself exist in the third person. You think about the things you are supposed to want. You think about the things you are supposed to care about. You try to force a feeling, like trying to start an engine in the dead of winter, but the gears won't turn. There is no spark. There is only the cold, metallic sound of effort. When you get home, the door closes with a sound that feels final. You are back in your box. You turn on the lights, but they don't make the room any brighter. They just make the shadows sharper. You turn on the television or the computer or the music because the silence is starting to itch. You need the noise to act as a buffer between you and the thoughts you aren't ready to have. You need the blue light to numb the edges of the void. You sit on the couch and you feel the minutes bleeding away. You are tired, but it is not a tiredness that sleep can fix. It is a weariness of the soul. It is the exhaustion of carrying around a person who isn't there. You look around your space. You see your things, the books you haven't read, the gadgets you had to have, the decorations that were meant to express your personality. They look like props in a museum. They look like evidence of a life that is being lived by someone else. You wonder when you stopped being the protagonist of your own story and became an extra in the background. You wonder when the colors started to drain out of the world. You try to remember a time when things felt solid, when the days had a beginning, a middle, and end that meant something. But the memory is blurry. It feels like a dream you had as a child. You find yourself pacing. Or perhaps you are just sitting very still, watching the clock. You feel a restlessness that has no direction. You want to go somewhere, but there is nowhere to go. You want to do something, but there is nothing to do that feels real. Everything feels like a distraction from the fundamental fact of your own hollowness. You are a vessel with no liquid. You are a frame with no picture. You are a ghost in a machine that is starting to break down. You think about the tomorrow that is coming. It will be exactly like today. The same gray light, the same cold glass, the same rhythmic seconds, the same performance, the same mask. You feel a sense of dread, but it is a quiet, polite dread. It isn't a scream, it's a sigh. It's the realization that you could live another 50 years exactly like this, and no one would ever know. You would go through all the motions. You would fulfill all the obligations. You would be a success by every measurable standard, and yet you would never have been there at all. You lie back down in the bed. The sheets are still heavy. The room is dark now, but it is a darkness that feels thin. You listen to the sounds of the world outside. A car driving by. A dog barking in the distance. The hum of the refrigerator. These sounds feel like they are coming from another dimension. They are the sound of a world that is happening, while you are a world that is merely persisting. You close your eyes and you try to find the center of yourself. You reach inward, looking for a core, looking for a solid place to stand. But the deeper you go, the less you find. It is just layer after layer of expectations, memories, and habits. And at the very bottom, there is only a vast, echoing space. You start to wonder if the emptiness is the only thing about you that is actually real. You wonder if the you present to the world is just a thin crust over a bottomless pit. And as you drift toward a shallow, uneasy sleep, a single thought begins to pulse in time with your heartbeat. It is a thought you've been running from all day, all month, perhaps all year. It is a question that has no shape, yet occupies all the space in the room. If you disappeared tonight, would anything actually be gone? Or would there just be an empty space where an empty space used to be? The darkness of your room is not a vacuum. It is a crowded space filled with the invisible weight of things you have not yet seen, but that have already seen you. You are lying there still and silent, but you are being pulled. There is a gravity in the room that does not belong to the earth. It is a digital gravity, a silent tugging at the corners of your awareness. You feel it even when the screen is dark. You feel the potential of the notification, the possibility of the ping, the phantom vibration of a world that demands you be a witness to it at every hour of every day. It is a slow, methodical harvesting. You think you're the one looking, but you are the one being consumed. You think you are the user, but you are the ghost in the machine, providing the warmth that keeps the circuits humming. The emptiness you feel is not a lack of substance. It is a feeling of being hollowed out bit by 1,000 tiny hooks that you invited in. You wake up again and the cycle repeats, but now the static feels heavier. You notice how difficult it is to look at a single thing for more than a few seconds. You look at a tree, and before you can truly see the curve of its branches or the way the wind moves through its leaves, your mind is already twitching. It is searching for the next frame. It is looking for the skip button. You have been trained to live in the flicker. Your focus has been shattered into a million sparkling shards, and you are trying to build a life out of the dust. You feel a frantic need to move, to click, to scroll, to change the channel of your own internal reality. You are never fully in the room because you are being broadcast across a dozen different digital planes at once. You are fragmented. You are a mosaic of interruptions. Consider the way you listen to music now. You start a song, and before the melody can even settle into your bones, you are looking at the next track. You are skimming the surface of beauty, afraid to sink, because sinking requires a stillness you no longer possess. You have been given everything, every song, every book, every image, every thought ever recorded. And because you have everything, nothing has weight. The abundance has created a strange kind of starvation. You are standing in an ocean of information, and you are dying of thirst. You move from one thing to the next, a nomad in a desert of mirrors, seeing only the reflections of your own hijacked desires. You are being fed a diet of neon light and high-frequency noise, and you wonder why your soul feels malnourished. It is not an accident. It is a design. You can feel the architecture of it in the way the world is built around your eyes. Everything is bright. Everything is loud. Everything is urgent. The world is a predator of your silence. It cannot leave you alone because your silence is the only thing it cannot monetize. Your boredom is a threat to the gears of the world. So, the world ensures you are never bored. It fills every gap. It plugs every hole. It occupies every spare second of your journey from the bed to the door, from the door to the car, from the car to the desk. It is a constant, seamless stream of stimulation that leaves no room for you to exist. You are being paved over. The wild, dark, mysterious parts of your inner life are being replaced by a smooth, sterile shopping mall of prepackaged thoughts. You find yourself thinking in slogans. You find yourself feeling in hashtags. Your emotions have become stylized versions of themselves, shaped by the way you think they should be seen. You are performing your life for an audience that doesn't exist, and in the process, the you who was supposed to be living it has slipped out the back door. You are a hollow shell, vibrated with the echoes of other people's opinions, other people's outrage, other people's joys. You are a relay station for a signal that isn't yours. You feel the emptiness because there is no center anymore. There is only the periphery. There is only the surface. You are a stone skipping across the water, moving faster and faster, terrified of what will happen when you finally slow down and begin to sink. The things you once loved now feel like chores. A book is too long. A movie is too slow. A conversation is too demanding. You want the shortcut. You want the summary. You want the peak without the climb. But the meaning was always in the climb. The meaning was in the long, slow, boring stretches of time where nothing happened. Now, those stretches are gone. They have been filled with content. They have been filled with more. And in the pursuit of more, you have lost the ability to feel enough. You are a vessel that is being filled with sand, and you wonder why you still feel light enough to float away. Notice how you feel when you are forced to wait. A line at the grocery store, a red light, a slow elevator. A wave of anxiety washes over you. It is a physical discomfort, a crawling under your skin. You reach for the phone like a drowning man reaches for a life raft. You cannot endure 3 minutes of your own company. You cannot survive the vacuum of your own mind. You have become allergic to yourself. You have been conditioned to believe that any moment not spent consuming is a moment wasted. But the truth is that those moments were the only ones that were actually yours. They were the soil in which your soul could grow. Now, the soil is gone, and you are trying to grow in the cracks of a sidewalk, under the harsh glare of a street lamp that never turns off. You feel observed, not by eyes, but by the very space you inhabit. The algorithm is not just in the machine. It is in the way you perceive the world. You look at a meal, and you think about how it would look in a photograph. You look at a sunset, and you think about how you would describe it in a caption. You are translating your life into a language that the system can understand, and in the translation, the poetry is lost. The raw, wordless experience of being alive is being filtered through a sieve of pixels and metrics. You are losing the ability to have an experience that is just for you. Everything is being shared, which means everything is being diluted. You are pouring yourself out into a bottomless bucket, and you are surprised when you find yourself dry. The world is getting faster, but you are not getting anywhere. You are on a treadmill of high-definition imagery, running toward a horizon that keeps receding. You are being overstimulated and undernourished. You are being given the illusion of connection, while the actual threads between you and the world are being cut. You see more faces than any human in history, and yet you have never felt more invisible. You hear more voices than ever before, and yet the world has never felt more silent. It is a quiet, technological haunting. You are the ghost, and the world is the machine. You start to see the patterns now. The way the colors on the screen are just a little too bright to be natural. The way the sounds are engineered to trigger a tiny puff of heat in your brain. The way the scrolling never ends, inviting you to fall forever into a pit of novelty. It is a perfect, frictionless trap. It is a cage that feels like a playground. You are being kept in a state of permanent adolescence, a state of constant, shallow wanting. You are being taught to fear the depth, to fear the silence, to fear the very things that make you human. Because a human who is whole is a human who cannot be bought. A human who is content is a human who does not need the next thing. The emptiness is a symptom of a theft. Something has been stolen from you while you were busy looking at the shiny things. Your attention was not just taken. It was harvested. Your focus was not just lost. It was dismantled. Your sense of self was not just faded. It was overwritten. You are moving through your days like a shadow because the light that is supposed to be coming from inside you is being sucked out by the screens. You are a battery being drained by a world that never sleeps. Submillimeter by submillimeter, your interior world is being colonized. Your dreams are being replaced by commercials. Your memories are being replaced by data points. You feel a sense of wrongness, a sense that this is not how it was supposed to be. You look at the people around you and you see the same glazed expression, the same twitching thumbs, the same hollow eyes. You are all part of a great, silent hive, humming with the electricity of 1,000 artificial desires. You are all lonely together. You are all empty in the same way. It is a collective haunting. You are all waiting for someone to wake you up, but the only people who can wake you up are also asleep, dreaming the same digital dream. The discomfort you feel is the only part of you that is still awake. It is the part of you that remembers what it was like to be solid. It is the part of you that knows you are more than a consumer, more than a user, more than a data point. But that part is small, and the noise is so very loud. The noise tells you that you are the problem. The noise tells you that you're just depressed, or just tired, or just getting older. The noise tells you to buy something, to watch something, to click something, and the feeling will go away. And you listen. You always listen. Because the alternative is to face the silence, and the silence is where the truth lives. You realize now that the world is not just happening to you, it is being calibrated for you. It knows your weaknesses. It knows your fears. It knows exactly how much dopamine it takes to keep you from walking away. It is a system of total capture, and you are the prize. The emptiness you feel is a space where your freedom used to be. It is the hole left behind when your agency was traded for convenience. You are a passenger in your own body, watching the world go by through a window that is actually a screen. You wonder how long you've been gone. You wonder if the you that started this journey is still in there somewhere, buried under the layers of static and noise. You feel a sudden, sharp pang of grief for a version of yourself you barely remember, a version of yourself that could sit under a tree for an hour and not feel the need to check the time, a version of yourself that could look into someone's eyes and not feel a distance, a version of yourself that was whole. As you walk through the world now, you see the hooks everywhere. You see them in the neon signs, in the chime of the elevator, in the way the city is designed to keep you moving, keep you looking, keep you wanting. You see that the emptiness is not a void. It is a shaped space. It is a mold. And the world is constantly trying to pour itself into that mold, to fill you with things that do not fit. You are being fed a meal of shadows, and you are wondering why you are starving. The feeling of being watched is not paranoia. It is a recognition. You are being mapped. Your soul is being converted into a map of preferences and tendencies. You are being simplified. You are being reduced to a series of predictable responses. The complexity of your being is an obstacle to the efficiency of the world. So, the world is smoothing you out. It is sanding down your edges. It is making you easy to handle. And in the process, it is making you disappear. You sit in the quiet of your room, and the hum of the world feels like a physical pressure against your ears. You look at your hands, and you wonder what they are for. They are for gripping, for feeling, for creating, but mostly, they are for holding the glass. They are for swiping. They are for clicking. Your body is becoming an appendage to the machine. Your mind is becoming a processor for feed. You are losing the boundary between yourself and the noise. The question is no longer why you feel empty. The question is how there is anything left of you at all. You are a fortress under siege, and the walls have already been breached. The invaders are not at the gates. They are in the kitchen. They are in the bedroom. They are in your head, whispering their desires in your voice. You think you want the things you want, but you are just echoing a script that was written by a ghost. You are a stranger in your own life, and the stranger is the one who is in control. You watch yourself live, and you see a puppet whose strings are made of light. You feel the tug, and you move. You feel the pull, and you look. You are a part of a grand, intricate dance of attention and consumption, and you have forgotten the music you were originally supposed to dance to. You close your eyes, and the static remains. It is etched onto your eyelids. It is woven into your thoughts. You try to think of a single thing that is truly yours, a single thought that did not come from a screen, a single feeling that was not prompted by a notification. You search the darkness of your mind, but everywhere you look, you see the glow of the machine. Is there a you left to find? Or have you been entirely replaced by the signal? You feel a cold, creeping sensation of non-existence. You are a shadow of a shadow. You are a whisper in a hurricane, and the hurricane is getting louder. As the night deepens, you find yourself staring at the wall, and for a moment, the wall seems to shimmer. The reality you have accepted starts to look thin. You see the cracks in the artifice. You see the hollow nature of the world you have built, and you realize with a jolt of pure, unadulterated fear that you don't know how to live any other way. You've been in the cave so long that the sun would blind you. You've been in the noise so long that the silence would deafen you. You are trapped in a masterpiece of your own making, a cage of infinite choice that has left you with no choice at all. You are the most connected person in history, and you have never been more alone. You are the most informed person in history, and you have never known less. The emptiness is not a hole you need to fill. It is a sign of what has been taken. It is the silence that follows a robbery. You have been looted of your presence, and you are left standing in the wreckage of your own attention. You look at the phone sitting on the table. It is small. It is silent. It is innocent. But it feels like a dark sun, radiating a light that creates no warmth. You know that in a few minutes, you will pick it up. You know that you will scroll. you know that you will let the noise back in, because the alternative is to sit here in the dark and realize that you have forgotten how to be. The question is not what is wrong with you. The question is, who are you when the lights go out? Who are you when the signal dies? Who are you when there is nothing left to watch? The mirror is waiting, but this time, you aren't sure if there will be a reflection at all. What if the emptiness isn't something inside you? What if the emptiness is all that's left of the world? The silence is not an absence of sound. It is a presence that you have spent your entire life trying to outrun. You are sitting in the center of your own life, and the walls are beginning to breathe. You feel the pull of the device on the table, that small, glowing rectangle that has become the external hard drive for your soul. You want to reach for it. Your muscles twitch with the memory of the motion. Your thumb aches with a phantom need to sweep upward, to refresh, to find the next burst of color that will tell you that you still exist. You know, with a clarity that hurts, that the moment you pick it up, the world will return to its flattened, manageable state. The moment you look at the screen, the static will stop being a threat and become a comfort, but you stay still. For the first time in a long time, you are standing at the edge of the clearing, looking into the woods of your own mind, and you are terrified of what is not there. You realize now that you are not a victim of the noise. You are its host. You have built a sanctuary for distractions because the alternative is unbearable. You have invited the flicker and hum into the most intimate parts of your day because they act as a screen, a veil, a buffer between your skin and the cold air of reality. You tell yourself you are bored, but boredom is just a name you give to the fear of being alone with your own thoughts. You tell yourself you are tired, but it is the exhaustion of a marathon runner who is running in a circle, afraid that if they stop, the ground will give way. You are participating in your own disappearance. Every time you choose a feed over the feeling, you are handing over a piece of your gravity. Every time you choose the comment section over the contemplation, you are thinning out the substance of your own being. You look at your reflection in the dark glass of the television, and you see a person who is waiting for permission to feel something real. You are waiting for a tragedy or a triumph that is big enough to break through the crust of the digital world. You are waiting for an event that is so loud it will drown out the internal hum. But the events come and go. The headlines flare and fade. The scandals and the celebrations pass through you like light through a window, and you remain unchanged. You are a spectator to your own emotions. You watch yourself being angry. You watch yourself being sad. You watch yourself being happy. You are a critic reviewing the performance of a life that you are supposed to be leading. There's a restlessness in your legs that feels like it belongs to an animal in a cage. You want to move, but there's nowhere to go that isn't more the same. You want to speak, but the words feel like they've been used by 1 billion people before you, stripped of their meaning and their weight. You are living in a world of hand-me-down ideas and recycled sensations. You are a copy of a copy of a copy. You feel the emptiness because you are built out of things that do not belong to you. Your desires have been curated. Your fears have been focus grouped. Your very sense of what is possible has been clipped and pruned to fit within the aspect ratio of a mobile screen. You think about the last time you felt a pure, unadulterated moment of presence, a moment where the clock stopped ticking, and the world felt heavy and real and right. It is hard to find, isn't it? The memory is buried under a mountain of data. It is obscured by the thousands of images of other people's lives that you have stored in your head. You know more about the interior of a stranger's house on the other side of the planet than you do about the texture of your own peace. You have traded your local, grounded reality for a global, ethereal hallucination, and you did it willingly. You did it for the convenience. You did it for the connection. You did it because the silence was starting to sound like a scream. You are afraid of the silence because the silence asks questions. It asks, who are you when no one is watching? It asks, what do you have that cannot be taken away? It asks, if all the electricity in the world went out tonight, what would be left of your heart? You don't have the answers, so you turn the volume up. You scroll faster. You find a new controversy to follow, a new product to research, a new hobby to pretend to have. You fill the silence with the debris of a culture that is also terrified of the dark. You are part of a massive, synchronized effort to avoid the void. You are holding hands with millions of other people, all of you squeezed together in a bright, loud room, pretending that the door isn't locked from the outside. You feel a sense of betrayal, but you aren't sure who betrayed you. Was it the engineers? Was it the architects of the systems? Or was it the version of you that first leaned into the light and decided it was better than the sun? You are a collaborator in your own captivity. You have learned to love the bars of your cage because they are made of high-definition glass. You have learned to crave the dopamine because it is the only thing that feels like a pulse. You are a ghost inhabiting a mannequin, and you are starting to realize that the mannequin is the one making the decisions. Consider the way you move through a room when you think no one is looking. Is there grace to it, or is it the jagged movement of a creature that is constantly being interrupted? You're always looking for the next point of contact. You are always checking for the signal. Your body has become a secondary concern, a meat suit that exists only to transport your eyes from one screen to the next. You have lost the rhythm of your own breath. You have lost the weight of your own footsteps. You're floating a few inches above the ground, caught in a permanent state of transition. You are never here. You are always on the way to somewhere else. But when you get there, you find that you have already left. The emptiness is not a problem to be solved. It is a mirror. It is showing you the truth of your condition. It is showing you that you have built a life on a foundation of shifting sand. You have valued the fast over the slow, the shallow over the deep, the many over the one. And now, you are reaping the harvest of that choice. You are a desert that is dreaming of rain, but you have forgotten what rain feels like. You only know the synthetic mist of the digital world, a mist that dampens the skin but never reaches the roots. You feel a sudden urge to throw the phone across the room. You want to smash the glass, to hear the sound of something breaking, to prove that you still have the power to destroy the thing that is destroying you. But your grip only tightens. You are afraid that if you let go, you will disappear entirely. You are afraid that the phone is the only thing holding the pieces of your identity together. Without it, who would know your name? Without it, where would your memories go? You have outsourced your existence to a machine, and now you are a tenant in your own mind, paying rent in the form of your attention. The discomfort is growing now. It is a physical sensation in the pit of your stomach. It is a tightness in your chest. It is a feeling of being trapped in a suit that is one size too small. You are outgrowing a life you have made for yourself, but you don't know how to step out of it. You are a snake that cannot shed its skin. You are a bird that has forgotten how to fly and has started to believe that the sky is a myth. You look at the sky now through the window, and it looks like a wallpaper. It looks like a backdrop. It doesn't look like an infinite expanse of possibility. It looks like a limit. You start to see that yourself is a collection of reactions. You don't act, you respond. You don't create, you consume. You are a mirror reflecting a mirror, a hall of echoes where the original sound was lost a long time ago. You are a part of the cycle, a cog in a machine that turns your time into money and your soul into data. And the most terrifying part is that you don't want to leave. You are comfortable in your numbness. You are safe in your emptiness. The void is predictable. The void is familiar. The void doesn't ask anything of you except that you keep watching. You think about the people you love, or the people you are supposed to love. You realize that you treat them like content. You see them through the lens of how they fit into your narrative. You are losing the ability to see another human being as a sovereign, mysterious, and terrifyingly real entity. They are just another stream of information, another set of pixels to be processed. You are all ghosts haunting each other, passing through one another without leaving a mark. You feel the emptiness because your connections have no friction. They have no resistance. They are as smooth as the glass you touch 1,000 times a day. You are beginning to realize that the meaning you are looking for isn't missing. It's being crowded out. There is no room for meaning in a life that is full of noise. Meaning requires a gap. Meaning requires a pause. Meaning requires the courage to stand in the silence and wait for something to emerge. But you have filled every gap. You have eliminated every pause. You have killed the silence before it could speak. You are a gardener who has paved over the entire garden and is now wondering why nothing is blooming. The weight of this realization is becoming heavy. You feel a sense of mourning for the person you might have been if you hadn't been born into flicker. You imagine a version of yourself that is rooted, a version that is solid, a version that knows the names of the trees and the phases of the moon and the sound of its own heart. That person feels like a stranger. That person feels like a myth. You are the reality, a flickering, shimmering, anxious knot of nerves and data, suspended in a world that is designed to keep you from ever landing. You want to stop. You want to close your eyes and stay in the dark until the world starts to make sense again. But even now, as you listen to these words, a part of you is already planning the next thing. A part of you is wondering what else is on. A part of you is checking the time. You are a runaway train, and the brakes were disconnected years ago. You are part of the cycle, and the cycle is moving faster and faster, blurring the world into a single gray streak of light. You are starting to suspect that the emptiness is not a hole inside you, but that you are a hole inside the world. You are a point of non-existence, a vacuum that is sucking in everything around it and feeling nothing. You are a black hole made of flesh and bone. And the more you consume, the larger the vacuum becomes. The more you watch, the less you see. The more you know, the less you understand. You are the one doing this. Not the system, not the algorithm, not the society. Though they provided the tools, you are the one using them. You are the one who picks up the phone. You are the one who ignores the sunset. You are the one who chooses a distraction over the depth. You are the one who is afraid of the quiet. You are the one who has decided that being empty is safer than being whole, because being whole means being vulnerable. Being whole means being able to break. And you have decided that it is better to be a ghost than to be a person who can bleed. The realization is a cold light. It doesn't warm you. It only exposes you. It shows you the dust on the furniture of your life. It shows you the emptiness of your gestures. It shows you that you are a stranger in your own skin. You are part of the machine, and the machine is working perfectly. It is producing exactly what it was designed to produce. A person who is alive but not present. A person who is connected but not related. A person who is full of information but devoid of wisdom. You are the architect of your own haunting. You have built a haunted house and moved into the basement. And now you are wondering why the air is so thin. You are wondering why the lights are flickering. You are wondering why you can hear footsteps in the rooms above you, even though you know you are the only one home. The tension is a cord that is being pulled tighter and tighter. You can feel it in your neck, in your jaw, in the way you are holding your breath without knowing it. You are waiting for the snap. You are waiting for the moment where it all comes apart. But the snap never comes. The cord just gets thinner. The tension just gets higher. The world just gets louder. And you just get emptier. You are standing on a bridge, looking down at the water, and you realize that you aren't looking at the water. You are looking at the reflection of the bridge. You are looking at the reflection of yourself. You are looking at a world that is twice removed from reality, and you are starting to wonder if there is any water there at all. What if the world has already ended, and this is just the afterimage? What if you're already gone, and this is just a memory of a person? You feel a sense of profound, cosmic vertigo. You are falling, but there is no wind. You are screaming, but there is no sound. You are part of the cycle, and the cycle is you. How long can you keep the performance going? How long can you pretend that you are satisfied with crumbs? How long can you live in the flicker before you become the flicker? You are reaching the limit. The system is full. The drive is at capacity. The signal is breaking up. You are a television set in a room where everyone is left, showing a channel that no longer broadcasts, filled with a static that is starting to look like your own name. You want to look away, but there is nowhere else to look. If you finally stopped, if you finally went quiet, if you finally sat in a chair and did nothing at all, who would be the one sitting there? Or is the fear that there would be no one there at all? The light has changed again. It is no longer the gray of the morning or the harsh blue of the screen. It is a light that does not seem to have a source. It is just there, resting on the surface of your skin, resting on the object in your room, resting on the thoughts that are still drifting through the corridors of your mind. You are still sitting. You are still breathing. The pulse in your wrist is a quiet, steady measure of time that does not belong to the clock. You have spent so long running from the emptiness that you have forgotten how to simply look at it. You have treated it like a wound, like a failure, like a ghost that must be exorcised. But what if it is none of those things? What if the emptiness is not a lack of something, but the space where something else is trying to begin?